into the circle, step onto your path, find your place of journey, where your life is mapped. Step into the circle, if the way is clear, you can start your journey and circle all your fear.
In terms of situating Ballina Parish, it's in North Kildare, and it's a large spread out territory cutting right across Kildare County from Clougharinco, which borders Eden-Derry, County Offaly, all across the Johnstown Bridge, which borders Enfield, County Meath. Another relevant fact about this parish is that it's only about 10 minutes from the M4 and is in close proximity to Dublin City. Therefore, it's firmly on the commuter belt with a constant stream of new housing development and rapidly growing population. Parish population is approximately 3,500 people. It has 3 churches, Broadford, Clougharinco and Johnstown Bridge. There are 4 schools in the parish, one in each of the 3 church districts and another one in Cadamstown. Like many priests around the diocese, I knew very little about Ballina and had never even been in it before I was appointed here 5 years ago. The first year I spent with Father Barry O'Connell, who was a very pleasant and agreeable person to work with. But sadly, Barry passed away suddenly very soon after his retirement, which left Ballina a one-priest parish for the first time in living memory. So in terms of how one priest can operate in a parish like this, I very soon realised that I wasn't going to be able to manage on my own, that I urgently needed help. Therefore, I quickly introduced the standard things: a parish pastoral council, a parish finance committee and a liturgy group. A more novel project which I took on 4 years ago was to convert the car garage beside the presbytery in Broadford into a parish office and meeting room. When that building was completed, I then employed Catherine Wynne as the parish secretary, and later on I promoted her to Parish Administrator with responsibility for parish finance and general parish administration.
When Father Breen told me of his plans to open a parish office and offered me a position in it 4 years ago, I naively thought my job would be selling mass cards, booking masses and dealing with parishioners' queries. Father Breen fully briefed me on how a parish works. Father Breen often says our parish office is a small, welcoming building where parishioners like to call. It is in a rural area where almost everyone who calls in needs to drive to get to us, but this does not deter them. There is a strong social aspect to the office. Some elderly parishioners in particular like to sit down and chat. Parishioners have embraced it with open hearts, and the office is now the place where people call with all kinds of queries. Over the last 2 years we have sold the parochial house and renovated 2 churches, with 1 church still to do. This has resulted in a lot of work dealing with builders, architects, etc. Incidentally, none of the money from the sale of the parochial house has been used for the day-to-day running of the parish. This money is ring-fenced for the works on the 3 churches. Whilst I do the administration day-to-day of the parish, I always run everything by Father Breen before signing off. I work in the office from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Parishioners now know how the parish works, and almost all their business is done during opening hours.
The other person in the parish on the payroll is Joan, the Parish Catechist. Joan has been part of the parish team since last year and is doing wonderful work in the parish in terms of school visitation, leading the First Holy Communion and Confirmation sacramental programmes, training altar servers, hospital and nursing home visitation, and keeping the parish website updated and refreshed with new photographs and information.
I started working with Father Gerard Breen in Ballina Parish in March of last year. And, I really think this has been my most interesting challenge to date. We have to do this in memory, and together we welcome the Spirit sacramental programmes running in all of our schools this year. And we have found this to be a great way of involving people and parents. And this year, the enthusiasm has been tremendous. The programmes are a great way of connecting home schools and parish, and the effective religious education of our children is ideally a work of partnership between home schools and parish. And by weaving these strands together, I think we can create a stronger foundation for better communities and for life in general. This year we had the historic reopening and rededication of the parish church in Broadford, and involved a group of 32 children who created a liturgical dance for the communion reflection. And this was another positive way of involving children and their families. We have just set up a baptism team, and we're in the process of setting up a hospitality team to welcome new members to the parish. I have done a lot of training and development on the RCIA programme, and we now have our own parish programme in place. Other things that my job involves are leading the Stations of the Cross on Good Friday, leading the prayers at various graveyards on Cemetery Sunday, creating liturgies for special occasions, working with the choirs. This Christmas we just had our very first Advent workshop, and it brought people from all walks of life. We're also focusing on working with our altar societies and creating some new life in the churches. Another part of my job entails the visitation of parishioners who are elderly, sick and housebound, which I visit on a regular basis both in their homes, in nursing homes and in hospitals. And this has taught me that one of the most generous gifts you can give is your time, and that people are lonely, and how important it is to keep in touch. We are currently looking at setting up a visitation team so that more people can get involved and we can cover more ground.
Probably the first question one would ask is, how can a rural parish like Ballina afford an administrator and a catechist? We operate a parish management system and now have a full database of all parishioners. This has enabled us to issue boxes for the envelope collection to almost every house in the parish. In the 4 years, our envelope return has gone from 14% to 33%. This has resulted in a significant increase in income to the parish. We also reclaim each year from the Revenue Commissioners under the Charitable Donation Scheme. This can be a great source of income, particularly in parishes with a high PAYE population, which is unfortunately not the case in our parish. Both Joan the Parish Catechist and myself have formal contracts of employment and job specifications with Father Breen. This works really well for both of sides, as all issues regarding our employment are covered.
As well as working in the parish, Joan has also attended a training course in pastoral ministry in Mitchelstown, County Cork, and was recently awarded a certificate of completion for that course. This kind of staggered arrangement between work and training is something that Joan intends to continue in the future, and is something which I fully support. At a time when priests are starting to get very scarce, I particularly like the idea that there are now established professionals and teams of lay people in Ballina Parish who could provide administrative and pastoral care and services to the community, even in the absence of a resident priest. Employing both Catherine and Joan has been very much to my benefit, and more importantly, to the benefit of the people in this parish. It's a structure that certainly works very well for me in terms of responding to the present needs of this parish, and I like to think that it might also stand the test of time and be something that will survive well on into the future.